Becoming an NBA All-Star isn't just about putting up numbers, it's a privilege earned by only the true elites of the best. It's one thing to outplay all-time greats like LeBron one night followed by Steph Curry the next, but for the good players who might not make the Hall of Fame, at least they'll have the luxury of telling their grandkids being on the court at the same time with the Jameses, Currys, Durants, and Jokic of the world. Four-time All-Star Tom Chambers even won All-Star Game MVP in '87, sharing the floor with Michael, Magic, and Larry at the same time. Glenn Rice a decade later won the honors, even outscoring Jordan and Pippen combined. While most good players will spend their post-playing days regretting not putting in more efforts to make the All-Star team at least once, every year a selected few rise above the pack and force the league to respect them. These same players deserve all the praise at the conclusion of November. These names shall get plenty of votes come February as they look to punch their ticket to the City of Angels. The perfect backyard for Austin Reaves, an absolute stud for the Lakers, from being in the discussion as the most valuable third option last season, now 27 years old, playing like a superstar, posting numbers even higher than Kobe's MVP season. Although it's different eras, nevertheless, it's insanely impressive what the undrafted kid out of Arkansas has accomplished. At this point, Reaves' production, making 40-year-old LeBron become the third option, about 20% through the regular season. Austin's 13 in points, 11 in assists. Of course, even if Bron continues to average below 20, he's a guaranteed All-Star each year till whenever he retires. No player deserves a new big contract more than Austin, hooping at the highest levels. The perfect guard to play alongside Luka. At this point in time, it's not shocking if Reaves is better than Kyrie Irving come 2026, having a Jalen Brunson type explosion leap. Now legit one of the best guards in the game, in the conversation behind the SGAs, Lukas, Stephs, and Edwards, Donovan Mitchells, and Devin Bookers of the world. The fact that the obsessive media brought up the idea of trading Reaves for a washed-up Klay Thompson as recent as March, an absolute disgraceful take of a travesty. The Mavs would have been just better off trading away Luka for Austin Reaves instead and the entire bench, and not went all in for Anthony Davis, who's fragile, breaking down, won't be an all-star, always hurt. If Nico Harrison didn't pull the trigger on that trade, Austin Reaves probably be the best Laker over AD. The biggest bargain at $13.9 mil on the season, while the Phoenix Suns paying the atrocious Bradley $20 million each of the next 5 seasons bill. There's just as many stupid people working in basketball front offices as in your regular job. This Lakers team, even with LeBron being at 60% of what he used to be, can make a serious run, capable of beating anybody outside of OKC. Reaves now has gotten stronger, the physical play not rallying him like past years. LA's backcourt of Doncic and Reaves, the best white point guard shooting guard combo since Jerry West and Gail Goodrich. Take these two to All-Star Los Angeles 2026. Jalen Johnson of the Atlanta Hawks. No Trae Young, no problem. Many have been calling him the best player on the roster all season after sidelining with a shoulder injury, limited to 36 games last season. The now 24-year-old leading his team in points, rebounds, assists, and field goal percentage at 6'8", 220, a nightmare for anybody, can shoot from deep, find open teammates, terrific defensively, numbers of 22, 10, and 7, asserting himself in the top 25 player discussion, excelling, playing at a slower pace, franchise all of a sudden without any negative headlines, most of which surrounds the questionable Trae Young's future. Double J quietly had a near forgotten quadruple-double against Utah over 2 weeks ago. 31 points, 18 rebounds, 14 assists, 7 steals. Straight up filthy numbers. Balling out like the best forward in the East should he stay healthy for 65 games. If Johnson keeps balling at this rate, all NBA nominations would be an easy choice. Based on recency bias, many would take him over the struggling Paolo Banchero. Many now question, when Trae returns, is Jalen still the first option, overtaking the franchise point guard? This is the first time the Hawks don't have to live and die by Trae Young's image. Johnson's similar resemblance of a Scottie Pippen, lethal in transition, can handle the ball, breadth the floor, and hit threes, now even has the fadeaway midi going. many forgotten how good he was last season. One of the slow starters who didn't live up to the hype at Duke, averaged 11-6 as a one and done. That's why he fell outside the lottery to the 20th pick, to putting up single-digit averages each of his first 2 seasons. A stupid franchise like the Wizards or Kings would have traded him after year 2. Being humble to spending good time in the G League, Johnson played multiple positions, especially some at center, to grabbing boards and running the floor, translating perfectly to the NBA fast pace. After a rough start, if Nate McMillan's still head coach, Double J still be buried deep on the bench, Quinn Snyder clicking all the right buttons. Detroit Pistons clicking on all cylinders, Jalen Duren, number 1 in the East, most wide open conference in a while. The former struggling franchise just 2 years ago, considered the biggest laughingstock, has risen to the top, already locking in franchise superstar Cade Cunningham. The rise of the 22-year-old big man has been better than any version of Andre Drummond. More like a fusion of Drummond and Bam Adebayo put in one, a near 20 and 12 bruising big, top 5 in offensive rebounds. As soon as Durham establishes position in the paint, there's absolutely no moving him. Can also blow by slower bigs, good timing around the basket for putback dunks. With a non-stop motor. From just 2 years ago, Durham was trying to prove himself, winning out the minutes, competing with other bigs like James Wiseman and Marvin Bagley, 2 lottery picks who might be out the league for good after this season. Durham on his way to possibly making All-NBA third team. His fluidity and touch offensively massively improved, doesn't have to live in the paint, can hit the mid-range shot too. This season, getting to the line over 7 times, puts the pressure on the defense, getting key guys in foul trouble. Detroit needs to pay him ASAP. Many thought the Pistons will fall off after the issues with Malik Beasley and the injuries to Jaden Ivey, but those guys haven't been missed. Durham right now, younger than a bunch of 5-year college basketball players, the type of guy other big men realize they ain't hitting the offseason weight room hard enough. Deni Avdija of the Portland Trail Blazers, it's not Scoot Henderson that's the franchise guy. Matter of fact, won't even surprise anyone if Scoot's not with the Blazers 2 years from now. The soon-to-be 25-year-old star out of Israel, slowly becoming a top 3 player of the 2020 class. It's Ant Edwards number 1, Tyrese Halliburton 2, and Deni 3. Of course, all 30 out of 30 teams at this moment would take him over the unpredictable, flamboyant LaMelo Ball. Season numbers of over 25, 6 and 5, the Blazers don't look like a laughingstock all of a sudden. It only takes one trade to make all the magic happen. And guess who stupidly gave up on him? The pathetic Washington Wizards. One of the most humble young stars who balls out in silence, not flashy, quietly dominates, played pro in Israel at 16 years old, already has the right fundamentals, look like an 8-year vet, can do a bit of everything on a team that freely lets him play his game. Avdija would average 2 more assists if his teammates could shoot. Portland, the 2nd worst 3-point shooting team in the league, super controlled, has that Luka-ish slow step, takes his time to finish easily down low, underrated athleticism, big enough to finish and also pass at 6'8", just like Jalen Johnson. Avdija having a much better season than Pascal Siakam, an incredible bargain, 4 years $55 million, making under 12 in 2028, has at least proven to be the best player on a solid team. Portland way too banged up. He's the only reason why OKC has a loss this season. Many believe Jrue Holiday would have been a trade piece or even a buyout candidate, but hate to break it to the contenders, Jrue's not going anywhere. If Portland can hang around near 500 when All-Star selections gets announced, Avdija will be the first Blazer All-Star since Dame Lillard himself. Chet Holmgren, the favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year now that Wemby's out for a while. The 22-year-old put in an incredible situation to succeed, more than worthy of being a number 2 option on a 19-1 blistering start. His impact, way more than what his numbers show, possesses all the winning qualities. Now he's got the mid-range shot in his bag, even with the absence of second best player Jalen Williams. The defending champs, by far the best team this season. Holmgren's worth every bit of his $250 million extension. His only downfall, injuries. Although there's more than a dozen guys in the West with way more impressive numbers, it's nearly impossible to leave out a second All-Star when your team in early conversations potentially breaking Golden State's 73 win season. Being limited to just 32 games last year, OKC still won a ridiculous 68 contests. The perfect second and third option who checks all the boxes as a versatile big, two tall thin bigs from the state of Minnesota, second and third options on a dynasty with Shea being the leader. Resemblance of Larry Bird of the 80s Celtics is what this generation's OKC's looking like. Josh Giddey. To think the Bulls didn't want to pay their restricted free agent too much, the 23-year-old's 4 years $100 million, an absolute bargain given his hot streak from last season. Now a 21-10-9 guy, quietly averaging a near triple-double. His team of course very mid. The Bulls franchise looks somewhat promising, first time in a long time after trading Zach LaVine. Team culture's been great, a proven mismatch, running the offense at 6'8" in a wide open conference. Why not try to secure a real playoff spot and avoid the play-in for once? The best playmaker the Bulls have had since 2017, Rajon Rondo, becoming the first Bull since MJ to record back-to-back triple-doubles. OKC fans from day one saw the potential, but the team got too good way too fast to keep Giddey around, added an inferior player but a good role guy in Alex Caruso, the biggest win-win trade we see in a while. Unfortunately, the Bulls only have 2 national TV games this season. Giddey's name won't be mentioned much. Mix the players around him better, driven by perfection, has similar qualities to former teammate Chet. If Jalen Williams started this season and played every game, there would have potentially been a scenario where 4 young Thunder from 2024's roster all share the floor in the All-Star game, but perhaps we can wait till 2027 to see it happen. You heard it here first. Norman Powell. Lawrence Frank, shame on you. The 2025-26 Los Angeles Clippers, an absolute travesty of a retirement home. Why would any team be so stupid to believe the washed up younger Bradley Beal can replace Norman's all-star caliber production from last season? One of the very late boomers who seems to get better with age, 32 years old, former second round pick of the 2015 class. At the end of the day, he might even have a more decorated career going forward than Kristaps Porzingis and of course D'Angelo Russell, only behind draftmates Devin Booker and Karl Anthony Towns, averaging a career best 24.5 points, nearly 50-40-90 shooting splits, the perfect guy to fit into Heat culture. Miami given little to no expectations, overachieving early. Only Tyler Hero's return and presence might hinder Powell's all-star chances. The fact that Orlando traded 4 draft picks for Desmond Bane and Miami got Powell for next to nothing goes to show why certain franchises straight up more superior and smarter than others. A good locker room guy. As for the Clippers, how's their locker room looking this season? In a contract year, Miami will need to figure out how they can retain him. There's certainly more than 40 guys in the association, more talented than Powell, but his uncanny work ethic, from his 6 a.m. workouts during the summers, continuously putting in work, is why he's as good as he is today. No role player in the NBA throughout their 20s has maximized their talents more so than number 24 for Miami. Franz Wagner missed too much time last season due to injury, but 2026 finally his time to be recognized. Too many conversations between who the franchise should build around, whether him or Paolo Banchero can coexist. Both very similar. When one's off the floor, the other can elevate. The two need the ball in their hands. Paolo's game more relying on mid-range shots and ISO plays. Franz, rim pressure and offensive instincts. Good to be considered all-star material. If he can get a better outside shot, even up to 36% from 3, that's a win. Proven to be more of a team player than his first overall pick teammate. A proven crunch time guy. Absolutely destroyed Mitchell Robinson. Dropped the 37 piece on the Knicks. At 6'10", good footwork. Has the ability to shoot floaters. On his way to becoming a better version of Hedo Turkoglu. Everybody talks about Golden State missing out on the former 8 pick, but just imagine a team like OKC drafted Franz instead of Giddey. Thunder would already be 2-time champs with at least 3 more coming. Still just 23 years old, one of the most versatile backs in the game, above average defense, Orlando's second best defensive team last season, overlooked in a small market. If he gets snubbed from All-Star, Franz will easily be considered the most underrated player in the league. Just like the other international stars on this list, Franz alongside Giddey and Avdija never screams for attention, not flashy, all poised beyond their years, while guys like John Morant and Zion Williamson might have the flair and highlights that's posted all over social media. These guys have easily surpassed the immature US stars. Zion and Ja's game won't last much longer. The game of basketball continues to be a worldwide international league dominated by Europeans, while Austin Reaves and Chet Holmgren doing the heavy lifting for the US white players. The style and play amongst many of these future first-time All-Stars, a thing to behold. A couple of these guys on this list might only become a one-and-done All-Star given the loaded talent in the National Basketball Association. An honorable mention, Jamal Murray. Unfortunately, Denver being short-handed, not going to help his case unless he puts up over 25 a game and the Nuggets rise to the 2 seed. I can see Jamal making a case, but the West simply too loaded. Don't even dare mention MPJ on the comments. MT stats for Brooklyn. Enough said.